Hey, tonight we're diving into a topic most history books just skip over the lives of women working in Victorian brothels. Sounds like a weird bedtime story. Right, but trust me, it's a fascinating, forgotten slice of history about women just trying to survive. Oh, and if you like these tales, a like or subscribe would be awesome. Also, I'm curious where you're listening from, so drop a comment with your location and time. It blows my mind knowing people are dozing off with me all over the globe. Alright, find a cozy spot, breathe slow, and let your body sink into bed. We're heading back to Victorian London, and believe me, you'll thank that mattress by the end. Congrats, you just woke up in London, 1857 to peak Victoria era. It's early morning, like 5 or 6 a.m. And no, you're not lounging on a fancy four-poster bed. You're sprawled on a slightly bumpy horsehair mattress with a thin wool blanket on top. The sheets, not fresh, they only get changed once a week, and the cheap's lavender scent barely hides the damp funk underneath. The room's pretty chilly. The tiny stove gets barely any coal, especially in the morning. The wallpaper's faded and peeling in the damp corners, floral patterns looking like a sad wallpaper graveyard. Then there's the smell, a weird combo of coal smoke from thousands of chimneys, mud and sewage from the nearby Thames, plus a strange sweet chemical tang perfume and makeup, basically the trade's toolkit. You're in a back room of a Haymarket brothel, not the worst spot, but definitely no luxury suite. You share this tiny room with another girl. She's still asleep on that narrow bed, breathing deep and steady. Occasionally turning over, you hear the mattress springs creak under you. You stretch your legs, wiggle your toes, feel the stiffness ease off. Ah, that moment of comfort before the day drags you back in. Outside, London is waking up. You hear horses' hooves clacking on the cobblestones, carts' wheels rattling, and street vendors shouting their wares. Fresh bread echoes down the street, bouncing between tall buildings. This is your life. Mary, that's what they call you, even if it's not your real name. You've been working here almost 2 years, part of the furniture. You've seen girls come and go, some moving up to better places, some vanishing back into poverty, others sick and never making it. You sit up slowly, pulling the blanket around your waist. The cold floor bites your bare feet as you reach for a wool scarf hanging on the bedpost, wrapping it snug around your shoulders. Much better. On the small table between the beds is a chipped ceramic jug and basin. There's a thin layer of ice on the water. London winters are brutal. You break the ice with your finger. The freezing water stings your skin as you splash it on your face. That shock fully wakes you up. Your breath catches for a second, then steadies. Now, let's talk about why you're here in this room, this life, because the story's probably not what you think. You weren't kidnapped or sold into this as a kid, though, yeah. That happened to some, especially the tiny ones. You weren't seduced then dumped by some fancy gentleman. Pregnant and destitute, though that was common too. No, your path's more ordinary, and in many ways, it's the usual route most women ended up here. You used to be a seamstress, a good one, with nimble fingers and sharp eyes, but London's packed with hundreds, maybe thousands just like you, all fighting over the same lousy, low-paying jobs. The British Quarterly once said that compared to the misery of being a sewing apprentice, factory work was child's play, and they weren't wrong. You worked 14, sometimes 16 hours a day, squinting in dim light, hands cracked and bleeding in winter, all for what? A starvation wage, just enough to keep a roof over your head. Now you lean back against the wall, feeling its solid support. Take a deep breath and roll your shoulders, letting some tension go. That's better relaxed and calm. Now you remember the turning point. It was winter. 3 years ago, you'd gone hungry for 2 days straight. The tiny rented room had no heat, and you could see your breath in the cold as you rushed to finish an order that might just cover the week's rent. Your fingers were numb, pricking yourself by accident, leaving tiny drops of blood on the pristine linen. Then a friend named Jane came to visit you, used to work together. She looked different, healthier, better fed, wearing an unfashionable but clean and warm wool dress. She brought food, real hot food, a steaming meat pie wrapped in paper, and sat with you while you devoured it, trying not to show just how desperate you felt. "There's a place," she finally said, "a house out in Haymarket. The madam's strict but fair, no nonsense and no cruelty, 2 meals a day and a decent bed, weekly health checks." She paused, looking at you. "One night there earns you what you make in a week here, Mary, and you won't have to kill yourself with these needles." She pointed at your pile of sewing. You didn't answer right away. Time to leave. You grew up in a proper church-going family, but your parents are gone, your siblings scattered chasing work, and now you're starving to death one needle prick at a time. That memory weighs heavy on you, and you sink deeper into the mattress. Your breath slows down. Naturally inhale, exhale, rinse and repeat. The house starts waking up around you. You hear footsteps on the stairs, heavy ones, probably Mrs. Winters, the housekeeper. You catch the rustle of coal being shoveled into the stove. They're stoking the fire downstairs in the parlor where the guests wait. A faint whiff of real coffee drifts up, not that corn coffee nonsense. This place prides itself on its little luxuries. Your roommate stirs, murmurs something in her sleep, then turns over. Her name's Lily. She's a few years younger than you, maybe 19 compared to your 24 red-brown hair. The kind the visiting gentlemen seem to fancy. She says she used to work in a factory in Manchester. The loom noise made her deaf in one ear. Time to get up for real. You think. You've got routines to follow, expectations to meet. Mrs. Winters runs a tight ship. Late is not an option. The madam, Mrs. Cartwright, you call her that to her face. But the girls call her Carty when she's not around, demands everyone downstairs, looking presentable by noon. The brothel runs like clockwork, mornings for cleaning, washing, resting, afternoons for a few regulars, mainly businessmen squeezing in a long lunch break. Evenings and nights are the busiest, with rooms booked solid till dawn. But now, in this quiet morning moment, you're chill. You reach for the tin on the bedside table, grab the little beeswax block inside, warm it in your palm. Then you rub it on your cracked lips, a tiny luxury. Another one, Mrs. Cartwright makes the girls take care of themselves. You sell illusions. She says, "The gentlemen don't want to see the truth about a woman's life in this trade." You nod quietly. Good advice. Most men coming here don't want truth. They want fantasy. An escape, something different. From their obedient wives and cozy homes, that thing that makes them feel special, powerful, or at least noticed. You get up and stretch like a cat, arms reaching up to the low ceiling, feeling that nice muscle stretch. Your nightgown, plain cotton, not as fancy as the silk and lace you wear for work, falls to your ankles as you head to the small dresser. Daytime, no clients. You wear normal clothes, a simple dress, practical shoes, nothing to make you stand out from the other working girls on London's streets. That matters, even though brothels aren't illegal, street solicitation is. The cops usually turn a blind eye to established places, especially if the bribes are on point. But discretion is key. You pick a dark blue dress, a bit faded but carefully patched, and lay it on the bed, dressing slower than when you need to switch between clients. Now you can enjoy the ritual stockings first, then petticoat, then bra, not too tight for daytime, just enough to shape while dressing. You think about today. Tuesdays tend to be quiet. Maybe a few regulars in the afternoon. Mr. Phillips, a banker who drops by once a week, mostly to talk about his stamp collection, or shy little Smith, who's never stayed longer than 15 minutes. Outside, London's noise grows louder as morning ticks on. A group of kids runs past the window, their shrieks cutting through the urban hum. Dogs bark nearby. A street vendor starts chanting, "Sharpen your knives, sharpen your knives." The everyday normalcy still surprises you sometimes. This life, a job society calls the lowest for women, goes on side by side with London's daily hustle. The baker delivers fresh bread to the brothel, just like he does to the fancy inn next door. The coal man, the stone seller, they come and go, offering the same services to every household. You sit at the edge of the bed, take a moment to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, nice and easy. That's it. There's a soft knock. "Hot water here?" "Miss?" a voice calls. Betsy, the all-around helper. She's just 13, too young for the main work. Mrs. Cartwright took her in after spotting her starving on the street. Now she helps Mrs. Winters, runs errands, and sleeps in the tiny room next to the kitchen. Maybe in 5 years, she'll join the others. But for now, she's protected a luxury many London street kids don't have. "Come in, Betsy." You say, the door opens, and she steps in carrying a steaming hot water jug. Her face freshly washed, brown hair neatly braided. "Good morning, Miss Mary," she chirps, pouring hot water into your basin. "It's chilly today. Mrs. Winters says it might snow." "Thanks, Betsy." You smile back. "Had breakfast yet?" "Yes, ma'am. The cook made porridge and tea, if you want. There's coffee in the kitchen, and some fresh-baked bread, too. Another small win for this place compared to many others' regular meals. Decent food. The worst brothel girls could starve if no customers showed up or only got scraps that barely counted as food. Here, Mrs. Cartwright gets it. A healthy girl makes more money. Betsy's gone, so you start scrubbing yourself down with hot water, soaking in the warmth. The routine feels nice and familiar. Face first, then neck, arms, underarms, and a quick rinse of the most delicate bits. Baths here happen twice a week. Wednesdays and Sundays in a copper tub dragged into the kitchen, way more often than the decent working women get. Believe it or not, cleaned up. You feel a bit more human. You run a brush through your thick, dark brown hair, usually down to your waist when loose during the day. You twist it into a simple bun at the nape. For work, you'd style it fancier. Maybe add some fake hair for volume and curls. There's a small tilted mirror on the dresser, the silver backing faded with age. You glance at yourself looking better than when you were a seamstress. Eating well's plumped up your cheeks. Your skin's pinker, healthier too, but your eyes? They've changed sharper, more watchful, seeing the world with clear eyes. You've been through stuff the innocent country girl never imagined. You shake off those thoughts. Why stress instead? You focus on getting dressed, tying your shoes with practiced fingers, each move smooth and familiar, syncing with the workday rhythm. Your breathing slows, steady and calm, dressed and ready. You face the new day. First task, breakfast. Then help tidy the house. Each girl has her assigned chore. Yours dusting the parlor and polishing glasses at the tiny bar. Mrs. Cartwright believes idle hands cause trouble, so even with no clients, the girls stay busy. Lily finally wakes fully, sits up, yawning big, so morning, she mumbles, rubbing her messy hair from her face. What time is it? Just past 7. Oh, you say, plenty of time. She nods, stretching her arms overhead, dreamed of the sea again. She says, the sea dream. Ever been to the ocean? Marry once. You recall a rare family trip as a kid to Brighton. I want to go again. Lily sighs. A little sad, since they say the air there's different, cleaner, easier to breathe. It's the shared dream here, save enough to escape London and start fresh somewhere else. Some make it, most don't. Money, even if it seems decent compared to other jobs, vanishes fast. Rent, food, clothes, work supplies, plus little treats just to soften the grind. You'll get there, you say, not entirely convinced yourself. Save a bit each week, even just a shilling, it adds up. She nods, but you both know how tough saving really is. There's always something, a toothache needing fixin', a torn dress to patch, friends needing help. Life has a sneaky way of stealing every little backup fund you try to build. You feel the weight for a moment, then deliberately shrug it off. Your shoulders relax as you exhale. It's fine. Just breathe. I'll meet you downstairs. You tell Lily as she stands. Don't take too long. Mrs. Winters is grumpy, and we both know what that means. Lily grimaces in agreement. I'll hurry. You leave the room, gently closing the door behind you. The narrow hallway is dim, with an old carpet running its length. 4 other bedrooms line this floor, all like yours. Downstairs holds the parlor, a tiny dining room, kitchen, and servant quarters out back. The nicest bedroom, reserved for Mrs. Cartwright, on the ground floor, so she can keep an eye on who comes and goes. The house is narrow but tall, squeezed between similar ones on this quiet street. Outside, it's clean, curtains fresh, doors freshly painted, no obvious signs. This is a brothel, no red lights, no flashy signs. Clients come by word of mouth, clever ads in certain papers, and a network of taxi drivers and hotel staff who get kickbacks for pointing gentlemen this way. As you step down the stairs, the smell of coffee grows stronger, mingling with fresh bread and frying pork belly. Your stomach growls back. The wooden stairs creak softly underfoot, the kind of familiar sound that feels like home. You run your hand along the banister, smooth from years of touch. The house warms up as fires are lit in the main rooms. London's usual chill backs off, at least inside these 4 walls. You hear the housekeeper in the kitchen, barking orders at the cook, just normal family morning noises. And in that moment, this could be any home, any life. Morning has a comforting rhythm in its predictable repetition, a pattern guiding you step by step through the day. You feel your body sync with that rhythm, breath flowing easy with each step in and out, calm and peaceful. You pause at the foot of the stairs, taking a moment just to exist. Your muscles loosen, mind softens, no matter what's next. There's peace right here, just being alive, having made it through another night. In a city that swallows people whole, the kitchen door swings wide open, spilling warm light into the hallway. You spot the cook standing by the stove, her broad back turned to you as she works. Betsy's clearing tables in the corner, where the servants and girls eat together. Mrs. Winters is reading a letter, glasses perched on her nose, silver hair tucked neatly under her hat. Just a regular scene, a quiet moment before the day's complicated dance kicks off. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs, then slowly let it out. Shoulders drop. Tension melts away like water. Now you're ready. You step into the warm kitchen, blending into the smell of coffee, bread, and wood smoke, and the soft chatter of the morning starting up. Pork belly sizzles in the pan, the rich aroma making your mouth water a bit. Your stomach protests in eager anticipation. Morning. Mary the cook says without turning around. She can identify everyone by their footsteps. Impressive. Sleep well, so, you reply, moving on to help Betsy clear the tables. That routine feels comforting, the familiar weight of plates, the neat arrangement of knives and forks. Your hands move on autopilot while your mind drifts, relaxed and hazy. Outside, London wakes up. Church bells ring far off, marking the hour. Street calls vendors, neighbors, kids. The city's endless symphony swells and falls like breath. Like the sea waves Lily dreams of visiting someday, up and down. The gentle rhythm carries you along the day's familiar habits. Your body unwinds and settles in, breathing slow and steady as you move through the warm kitchen, prepping breakfast with the others. The smell of freshly baked bread grows stronger as the cook pulls out a loaf, golden brown crust, cracking slightly as it cools. The big rectangular kitchen table is scarred from years of use. 8 chairs surround it, enough for the 5 girls working in the house, plus Mrs. Winters, Betsy, and the cook, Mrs. Cartwright eats alone in the parlor. Keeping the distance, she insists, is necessary to run things properly. You slide into your usual chair, feeling the worn wood smooth under your seat. This chair's been polished over the years, shaped by countless folks before you. There's something reassuring about that continuity, a shared experience through time. You sit down, feeling steady and supported. The cook sets down a big pot of porridge in the middle of the table with a satisfying thud. The porridge is good, thick, and creamy, made with milk instead of water, sweetened with a spoonful of syrup. One of those small luxuries that remind you this place isn't just ordinary. Eat it while it's hot, the cook says, her cheeks flushed from the stove's heat. She's a widow in her 50s, took this job after her husband died and left her with nothing. She never talks about her past, just cooks and keeps to herself. She always makes sure the girls eat well, believes good food is the foundation of health. You scoop a full bowl, steam curling up fragrant and warm. The first spoonful is hot and sweet on your tongue, smooth and comforting. You close your eyes for a moment, just savoring the simple joy of good food when you're hungry. The other girls arrive one by one. First, Emily, a petite blonde who's been here about 6 months. Then Sarah, older, nearly 30, straightforward, and good with numbers, helps Mrs. Cartwright with the books. Last is Josephine, the newbie still adjusting to life here, her eyes often red from private tears. Finally, Lily shows up, hair pinned up in a rush, still half asleep. She slides into the chair beside you, just as Mrs. Winters starts pouring coffee. Almost forgot breakfast, you whisper, passing her the pot of porridge. Well deserved. Those extra 10 minutes in bed, she whispers back with a small smile. The coffee here is another luxury real coffee, not that fake. Weak stuff laborers usually gulp just to get by. Strong, hot coffee with sugar for those who like it. Sweet. You hug the coffee cup with both hands, feeling the warmth creeping through your fingers. Cozy, comforting, the rich aroma rises with the steam, bold with a hint of bitterness. Breakfast mostly passes in silence. There's an unspoken rule against talking shop this early. Instead, chatter drifts through everyday topics, like the weather, a funny story about the butcher's clumsy delivery boy slipping in an alley yesterday, and rumors whether the greengrocer's wife is pregnant again. Just the usual nonsense you'd hear at thousands of breakfast tables across London every morning. This ordinary feeling is important. It reminds you that no matter the job, this is where people live, eat, sleep, and deal with everyday life. You feel yourself relax, shoulders dropping gently, your breath deep and steady. Warm food settles in your belly, fueling you for the day ahead. You take another sip of coffee, savoring the rich bitterness. After breakfast, work begins. This house runs on a strict schedule, each girl with her own tasks, not just for efficiency, but because Mrs. Cartwright believes routine and responsibility keep order and prevent chaos like in the poorly run places. Today, your morning job is dusting the parlor and polishing glasses at the little bar. Easy enough. Repetitive tasks let your brain wander while your hands stay busy. It's kind of meditative steady motions, turning grime into sparkle, boredom into shine. The parlor's the main room for guests. It's decorated to look respectable, with a dash of luxury sturdy dark wood wrapped in slightly worn red velvet armrests that are still soft. Heavy curtains of the same shade tied back during the day to let London's smoky light in. A few carefully chosen paintings, mostly landscapes, plus one slightly scandalous classical scene with some barely dressed nymphs. Not too obvious, not screaming brothel at first glance. That's on purpose. Keeping up appearances protects everyone. If the cops drop by, there's no clear crime, just a private house with a few young ladies living there. Suspicious maybe, illegal not quite. You start dusting, methodically working the room feather duster on big surfaces, damp cloth for the finer details, familiar moves that feel soothing enough to keep boredom at bay without needing full focus. Around you, the neighborhood sounds misses. Winter's teaching Betsy how to blacken the stove, the cook humming off key while kneading bread dough, Lily's light footsteps upstairs as she makes beds, everyday noises that could belong to any family. On the mantel, a few knickknacks, a porcelain shepherdess statue, a small brass clock, a pair of decorative vases. You dust each one, placing them back just so. Mrs. Cartwright notices if anything's out of place, even a little. The clock ticks steadily, marking the calm rhythm of the morning. Through the window, you glimpse a slice of London life, a maid beating rugs in the neighbor's tiny yard, a cat tiptoeing along the garden wall, a boy rushing by, clutching a scrap of paper. Could be any family's scene. On the fireplace shelf, a porcelain shepherdess, a small brass clock, and a pair of decorative vases. You gently dust each item, then set them back exactly where they belong. Mrs. Cartwright would notice if anything shifted even a bit. The clock ticks evenly, keeping the peaceful morning beat. Outside the window, a slice of London life unfolds. A maid shaking out a rug in the tiny yard next door, a cat cautiously padding along the garden wall, a boy running with a scrap of paper in his hand. You head to the small bar in the corner. Nothing fancy, just a cabinet holding glasses and a few bottles. Most guests get offered a cherry or brandy right away, social nicety to smooth over the whole business vibe. The glasses need polishing. They fog up fast in London's air. even unused. You grab each one, blow off the dust, then wipe in gentle circles with a soft cloth. The glasses squeak softly as they shine, catching the faint, flickering light. The repetitive motion is almost hypnotic. Round and round you go. Your breath sinks, naturally inhale starting the circle, exhale finishing it. Slow and steady. Your hands know just the right pressure enough to clean without smashing the fragile crystal. Time drifts by smoothly as you work. Morning light shifts slowly, casting slow-moving shapes on the floor. Your mind wanders to light thoughts, nothing demanding the afternoon ahead. The book you're slowly reading the latest Dickens, borrowed from Sarah, who grabs stuff from the customers. You run a bookstore, that new ribbon you're thinking of buying to tie your hair if business goes well this week. Simple thoughts, everyday worries. You've learned not to overthink the past or stress about the future. Life here teaches you to live, mostly in the now, taking each day, hour, moment as it comes. The front door creaks open and shut, pulling you back to reality. Heavy footsteps in the hall, definitely a man than Mrs. Cartwright's voice, lower when she talks to the girls. Professional but friendly tone. Good morning, doctor. Thanks for being on time. Today's Wednesday, health check day, every week. The doctor visits to check the girls for any signs of illness. It's one of Mrs. Cartwright's strictest rules, and why the place has a decent reputation in many brothels. Disease runs rampant with devastating consequences for women and clients alike. Here, any girl showing symptoms gets sent home immediately for treatment costly upfront, but worth it long term. The secret to the joint's longevity. You finish polishing the last glass and carefully put it back in place. The doctor's arrival signals the day's pace is about to shift. Exams take up most of the morning in Mrs. Cartwright's private parlor, temporarily turned clinic. Each girl gets checked alone. Results noted in a little book Mrs. Cartwright locks tight in her desk. You return the cloth to the kitchen where Mrs. Winters watches Betsy chop veggies. Carrots and onions are being diced for the midday stew. Earthy smells blending with rising yeast from bread dough. Parlor's done. You tell Mrs. Winters, "Can I help here until the doctor calls?" She looks up, scrutinizing Betsy's knife skills. No need. He sees Josephine first, then Lily. You've got time to do laundry if you want. Laundry's on each girl, with the boss only washing bed linens, towels, and big stuff usually Wednesdays, before bathing. You wash personal stuff, period cloths, underwear, socks. You grab the basket from the little cupboard by the kitchen and head out back to the washroom. It's cooler here. Stone floor, big sink. You pump cold water into the copper tub, then add hot water from the kettle to take the edge off. Washing clothes is oddly satisfying. Hands moving rhythmically through the water, turning grimy into clean. You're careful, rubbing soap into the fabric, kneading it well, then rinsing. The water turns cloudy, tiny soap bubbles catching the light like a dazzling rainbow. This quiet, necessary chore gives you time to think. The doctor's visits always leave you pensive. They're a grim reminder of the risk in this line of work. Illness can ravage a woman's body, bringing pain, disfigurement, and death. You've seen it, relentless coughs, worsening day by day, suspicious sores that won't heal. The telltale sign a girl will soon vanish from the house, usually off to a charity hospital if she's lucky, or suffer alone if not. So far, you've been pretty lucky. Mrs. Cartwright makes sure clients follow some safety rules not perfect, but better than nothing. Weekly checkups catch things early when treatment still helps, but you know this luck won't last forever. Few last more than a few years in this job without falling ill. It's a gamble you've accepted between starving in an honest job and risking sickness here. You wring out the last cotton shirt, squeezing tight to lift the water. Your forearm muscles flex, feeling strong and satisfying. Your hands, despite all the soap and water, stay surprisingly soft, a must in this trade. Clients hate rough, calloused hands on their skin carrying the damp clothes. You step into the small yard behind the kitchen. The clothesline runs from the house to a post near the wall. You hang the laundry carefully, clipping things down so the wind doesn't steal them. The air's cold, but dry, perfect drying weather as long as snow stays away. The tiny yard's just a rectangular slab of stone with a few struggling flower pots, but open to the sky after the cramped indoors. You take a moment to breathe outside. It's not fresh country air London's always mixed with smoke and fog, but it's cooler, cleaner than inside. You tilt your face up, feeling the weak winter sun on your skin. A rare moment of pure joy. No strings attached, just soaking up light and air. Your breath deepens, chest expanding comfortably. Feels good just taking a little time for yourself. The back door opens and Lily pokes her head out. The doctor's almost done with me. Your turn next, she says, then spots you looking up. Anything interesting in the sky? You smile, lowering your gaze. Just the usual sun, clouds, and freedom. She snorts, half joking. Come inside before you freeze. Mrs. Winters is boiling water for tea and baking those currant buns you like. The promise of hot food is pretty tempting after that chilly yard. You follow Lily inside, feeling the kitchen's warmth wrap around you like a hug. The contrast makes your skin tingle pleasantly as circulation returns to your cold fingers. The kitchen is the heart of the house, the warmest room everyone gravitates to when free. Now, near noon, it's buzzing with meal prep. The cook stands by a big table, rolling out pastry dough for meat pies, arms dusted with flour up to the elbows. Mrs. Winters sits in the corner chair everyone unofficially knows is hers. Carefully, mending a sock with a tiny needle, Betsy darts back and forth between the two, fetching things, carrying things, learning by watching and listening. You take the teacup from Lily, wrapping your hands around the warmth. Steam rises, carrying a faint, slightly bitter aroma. You blow gently on the tea surface, watching ripples spread in concentric circles. There's something oddly soothing about this simple physics action and reaction, cause and effect reliable in a messy world. How was the checkup, you ask Lily softly. She shrugs, same as always. Cold hands, a few questions, textbook stuff, all fine. She hesitates, then lowers her voice. Josephine's not doing so well. I heard Mrs. Cartwright say she has to rest at least a week. Take medicine 3 times a day. You nod, not surprised. Josephine's been looking pale, dark circles under her eyes, coughing nonstop. Not critical yet. Probably just the start of something that can still be fixed. But a reminder of the sword hanging over everyone's heads. The bell rings at the front, Mrs. Cartwright calling the next girl in. That's you. Lily bites into a currant bun. Don't worry. The doctor's in a good mood today. Just a little teasing. You set down your tea. Sighing with regret, it just hit perfect warmth. But the doctor can't wait, his time's precious, and his services are snapped up everywhere else. Walking through the house into Mrs. Cartwright's parlor, you smooth your dress and fix your hair out of habit professional reflexes after 2 years. Always look sharp, even if you're just here for a checkup. The parlor's been cleared for the doctor's visit. The small rosewood table is stripped of papers and knickknacks, now covered with a clean white cloth. On it rest the doctor's tools, stethoscope, little glass medicine bottles, notebook, and pencil. The plush armchair is pushed aside to make room for a straight-backed wooden chair placed where the window light hits best. Dr. Harrison is about 50, salt and pepper hair, neatly trimmed beard, unlike many doctors working in this field. The guy doesn't treat women with unnecessary disdain or roughness. It's all professional, gentle touches, more medical exam than punishment. He wears a wedding ring and has mentioned his college-age kids. Sometimes you wonder what his respectable family would think about his line of work with girls like you. Ah, Mary, he says, glancing up while washing his hands in the basin. How's things? Any issues to report, the usual opener, recognizing you as a person, not just a body to poke a tiny act of civility. More important than you'd think. I'm fine. Thanks, Doc. You say, nothing to worry about. He nods, drying his hands on a clean towel. Good, good. Shall we get started then, Mrs. Cartwright sits quietly in the corner, playing nurse and note-taker, but staying out of direct sight during the exam, a bit of respect in what could easily get awkward. The checkup is quick but thorough breath, heartbeat, throat, eyes, then the more private bits fast, clinical, gloved. You've learned how to mentally check out during this part, thinking about other things, the book waiting in your room, the raisin cookie you'll eat when this is over, the sunshine on the backyard wall. Everything looks good, he finally says, stepping back and peeling off his gloves. Keep doing what you're doing. He jots notes, then nods to Mrs. Cartwright, who stands to lead you out. In the hallway, she whispers, send Sarah in next, then turns back. The exam leaves you feeling a bit hollow. Like always, not because it hurts or feels bad, no, not at all, but because you get reduced to a bundle of body parts to be judged and rated. Necessary, sure, to keep you and everyone else safe. But still, that empty feeling lingers. You head back to the kitchen, pass the word to Sarah, and grab your cold cup of tea. Holding the sturdy cup helps you feel more solid in your body after the clinical detachment. You take a long sip, then head back to your room. The exam leaves you feeling a bit hollow, like always, not because it hurts or is unpleasant. No, not at all, but because you're reduced to a collection of body functions to be assessed and judged. Necessary, yes, to protect you and everyone else, but that hollow feeling follows anyway. You return to the kitchen, pass the message to Sarah, and grab your now cold tea. The sturdy cup makes you feel steadier in your body after that cold detachment. You take a long sip, then reach for a raisin cookie. Still a bit warm. The raisins are plump and sweet against the bland dough backdrop. The hallway clock chimes noon. Morning flew by, as it always does on busy days. The house is about to shift into afternoon mode. The earliest guest might show up around 1 p.m., mostly businessmen sneaking in long lunch breaks, all regulars who get better, faster service during quieter times. You finish your tea and cookie, brush crumbs off your skirt. There's still time to pop into your room before the afternoon starts. A chance to check your look, maybe swap into something a bit more guest appropriate than your morning work dress. The stairs creak familiarly under your feet as you head upstairs. The house is quiet at midday, a brief pause between morning hustle and afternoon duties. Even the street noise seems muffled, like the whole block is taking a deep breath together. Your room greets you with its familiar shapes and scents, small, sure, and sparse by rich folks' standards. But it's yours in that uniquely personal way. Few spaces are the bed where you start your day. A small wardrobe for clothes and a few things. A window offering a limited but precious view of the rooftop sky. You catch your reflection in the small mirror cheeks slightly flushed from the kitchen warmth. Hair still neat after morning brushing. You look ordinary, just a young woman in a simple dress. No different from thousands walking London's streets. No obvious sign screaming fallen woman. No scarlet letter. No moral judgment badges. Thinking that, you smirk a little. The whole hypocrisy still surprises you. Sometimes society condemns women like you, creates the conditions that make this life necessary, then provides clients to make it profitable. But philosophical musings won't get you through the afternoon. You open your wardrobe, thinking about what to wear, not the fanciest stuff. That's for evenings when richer clients come, but something a step up from your morning work dress. You pick a blue cotton dress with a slightly stylish cut and a bit of lace at the collar. It's cotton, not wool, with a touch of lace at the neckline, polite enough not to draw unwanted attention, attractive enough to catch the eye. Changing is quick. You're a pro at dressing and undressing efficiently. The new dress feels cool and light on your skin. Fabric lighter than your morning work dress. You check your hair, add a few pins where needed, and pinch your cheeks for color. No makeup yet, that's for evening. Daytime clients prefer a more natural look, fitting the whole casual chance meeting script. Ready. You sit on the bed's edge for a moment. Breathing slow and deep, inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, mentally switching from private self to professional mode. That boundary's important, like a protective bubble, keeping your core intact from the job's demands. Your body feels relaxed, your mind sharp. The bed supports you comfortably as you sit. Your weight, you sink lightly into the mattress, connecting with the physical world, the solid reality of objects. The sensations helps you find balance. You gently brush the edge of the blanket, feeling its slightly rough texture on your palm. Real, right here, right now, from downstairs. The front door opens and closes. Voices in the hallway misses. Cartwright's polite greeting. A deeper male voice responding. Afternoon's officially started. You stand up, smooth your dress one last time. Take a deep breath, getting ready for a big lungful of air. Then slowly let it out. Your shoulders drop as the breath leaves, tension melting away like water flowing. Now you're ready. Your hand touches the cool doorknob as you open it. The hallway stretches ahead. The stairs lead down where life's complicated dance keeps going. Every step deliberate. Your breathing steady, posture balanced and controlled. That's it. Calm and easy, you step into the fading day, into whatever's waiting. Your mind peaceful in the moment. Your hand brushes the smooth wooden railing, polished by countless passings, just like this. The house creaks and flexes around you, like a living creature with its own rhythm. You become part of that rhythm, flowing with it instead of fighting, each breath syncing with the gentle pulse. Take it slow, exactly that, step by step, into the day unfolding. The parlor's already occupied when you reach the bottom of the stairs. Mrs. Cartwright stands by the fireplace, one hand gracefully resting on the mantel while chatting with a guest. The man's back is to you, middle-aged, judging by his stance, wearing a dark, well-tailored but not flashy coat, probably a businessman. You pause at the door, waiting to be acknowledged. Mrs. Cartwright glances up, nods slightly, permission granted. Ah, and now Mary's here, she says smoothly. Mary, this gentleman was just asking about some pleasant company for an hour or more. The guest turns, revealing a face exactly as you imagined, about 45 years old. Salt and pepper temples, sun-weathered skin from too much outdoor time. Polite but a bit awkward, definitely new around here. Oh, hello, sir, you say, nodding politely, not too deep, just enough to show manners. Your voice shifts now, softer, a bit polished, compared to your usual tone, the professional voice you picked up through observation and practice. Charles Wilson introduces himself with a slight bow. Probably not his real name. Lots of clients go by aliases. But who cares? Would you like a drink? Mr. Wilson, Mrs. Cartwright offers, gesturing to the small bar you cleaned earlier. A glass of sherry, or brandy if you prefer. It's the ritual. Offering a drink makes this feel like a social visit, not a business deal. Most men accept. Using the time to check out the ladies and calm their nerves if it's their first visit. Sherry sounds great, he replies. And Mrs. Cartwright moves to pour, graceful and confident. You take the chance to observe a little closer. His clothes are quality, but show signs of wear a well-off businessman, but not a big spender. His hands say more a bit rough, but nails clean and trimmed. Someone who occasionally gets their hands dirty, despite the suit, maybe a merchant or a shop owner who still pitches in. Mrs. Cartwright hands him the amber drink, then retreats with discreet professionalism. I'll leave you two to get acquainted, so the green room is available whenever you're ready. With that, she silently exits the parlor, closing the door softly behind her. Now it's just the two of you, standing a few steps apart in the quiet room. The fire crackles, casting flickering shadows on the walls. Outside, the faint sounds of London drift in horse-drawn carriages rolling by. Distant calls, a train whistle far off. Please, have a seat, you say. Nodding to a comfy armchair by the fire, make yourself comfortable. He sits, a bit stiffly, on the edge of the chair, clearly nervous. You sit opposite, smoothing your dress, with practiced ease, not too close, giving him space, not too eager a dance with steps and rhythm all its own. Is this your first time at Mrs. Cartwright's, you ask, though you already know the answer. He takes a sip of sherry before replying. You can tell that clearly. You smile lightly. Not at all, just that I haven't had the chance to serve you before, and I know all the regulars. That seems to ease his tension. He leans back slightly, shoulders no longer stiff. Yes, it's my first time. A business partner recommended this place, said it was respectable. My first time, too. A business partner suggested this address and said it was quite respectable. There it is again, respectable. Such a big deal in this society. This fragile veneer makes the unacceptable somehow acceptable, letting guys like Mr. Wilson come here without admitting what they're really up to. Mrs. Cartwright runs a very respectable house, wouldn't you agree? Everything here happens discreetly, with good taste. He nods, sipping more sherry. You notice his hands steady now, that initial awkwardness fading as familiar social rules snap back into place. Even though it's all technically illegal, this meeting follows rules so predictable they're almost comforting. And you are Miss Mary, right? Have you been working here long? The classic question, part curiosity, part sizing you up, part trying to make this weird setup sound normal. Almost 2 years. You answer honestly. No need to explain more this time. The chat drifts to light stuff weather. The latest exhibit at Crystal Palace. Some vague talk about his job as a tea and spice importer. Nothing too personal. Nothing glaring, just enough to build the bare minimum connection to shift from strangers to whatever's next. You watch the guy as he talks, noting little details that help figure out what he really wants. He's controlled but not cold, looks you straight in the eye, not like those other creeps who avoid your gaze. Seems lonely, maybe a widower, or his wife's been sick forever. Someone after more than just a quick physical fix, craving a bit of human warmth when he downs his sherry. You know the time has come. The getting to know you part is done. Now it's showtime. Would you like to continue this conversation somewhere more private? Mr. Wilson, you ask. Voice soft. He sets down the empty glass and nods. Yes, I think so. You stand up, feeling your leg muscles waking up smoothly, adjusting slightly to keep your balance. The fire's warmth fills the room. Your body relaxes and feels good. You reach out, not demanding, just inviting. Please, follow me. He briefly grips your hand as he stands. Then let's go. You lead him out of the sitting room, down the hall, and up the stairs. The blue room's on the first floor, daytime guest quarters. Definitely not any girl's private space. Simple but comfy decor. A big bed, a wash basin, and a small cabinet with essentials. The transaction itself is nothing special. Mr. Wilson is polite, not rude, grateful for the cozy spot and attention. He sticks to the paid time, even though the intimate part only takes a bit of it. The rest is light chatter, his head resting on your shoulder, your hand gently stroking his hair. That's part of the package too, the feeling of closeness, of being cared for. When time's up, Mrs. Cartwright's clock in the hall chimes. No need for a hint. He dresses quickly, but without rushing, still holding on to some dignity, trying to keep manners even in this less than classy situation. Thank you, miss, he says simply, ready to leave. He slips a small coin into your hand, a tip, a token of gratitude. You're very kind. Happy to serve, you reply. The professional line almost a habit now, but this time it's not entirely fake. Guys like Mr. Wilson, honestly, not bad clean, easy, no drama in this crazy world. That counts as a decent meeting. You guide him to the stairs when suddenly Mrs. Winters appears like magic to see him off. The housekeeper will discreetly escort him out, making sure no one else bumps into him, keeping that exclusive. Private front is key to protecting the house's reputation. Once he's gone, you head back to the blue room. Time for the part the clients never see, cleaning up and prepping for the next round. You strip the used sheets, fold them neatly for the laundry, grab fresh linens from the closet, give them a practiced shake, and spread them on the bed. Pillowcases swapped too, the old ones tossed into the laundry pile. At the wash basin, you clean up with the towel and water you prepared earlier. This is important not just for hygiene, but to mark boundaries between clients. Each one is different. Every meeting needs a clean slate. There's a ritual to keep that line clear. The used water goes into a bucket below for Betsy to dump later. You refill the basin from a big jug, arrange the towels, and set the soap bar back on its dish. Finally, you check your reflection in the dresser mirror. Hair's a bit messy. A few skilled moves fix that. The dress has a wrinkle where Mr. Wilson grabbed it. You smooth it out. Your face is still the same, those eyes, that mouth. Still you. That quiet moment after a client leaves feels strangely peaceful, like a pause between acts, a breath between lines. You stand there a moment, feeling the sturdy wooden floor underfoot. Listening to the soft house sounds the ticking clock, distant clinks from the kitchen, muffled voices downstairs. Your breath falls into a natural rhythm. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. You smooth the wrinkle on your dress with your palm. Your face stays the same, those eyes, that mouth. Still you. That quiet moment after a client leaves feels strangely peaceful, like a pause between acts, a breath between lines. You stand there a moment, feeling the sturdy wooden floor underfoot. Listening to the soft house sounds the ticking clock, distant clinks from the kitchen, muffled voices downstairs. Your breath naturally follows the rhythm, in through the nose, out through the mouth, your shoulders dropping gently as tension melts away. This is part of the job too, learning to let go, not letting one client's mess pile on top of the last. Take it slow, that's the trick. The hallway clock strikes 3 in the afternoon, hands moving up. You gather the laundry, leave the blue room, closing the door behind. The laundry goes down the stairs to the washroom, joining the pile waiting for Therese, who'll come tomorrow. In the kitchen, you find Lily and Emily sitting around the table, sharing tea. They look up as you walk in. Wilson? Huh? Lily asked, sliding a clean teacup your way. New around here? Huh? You nodded and poured yourself some tea. Not bad, I guess. A widow. I think's a tea merchant. Stories like this are the usual sharing gossip about customers, especially newbies, partly to chat, partly to keep things running smoothly. Knowing a customer's quirks makes the job easier and way safer. Way better than my afternoon, Emily grimaced. Old man Peterson struck again. Same old routine 45 minutes about his tobacco tin collection, then 5 minutes of mechanical mumbo-jumbo, and that god-awful cough drop smell he always carries. You smiled sympathetically, settling into the sturdy wooden chair with your tea. That solid chair was a welcome hug for your tired legs after standing all day. At least that part's quick. Call it luck. Emily chuckled ruefully in agreement. Friendships here were one of those weird perks of life. There was this unspoken sisterhood among the girls so tight, even though the work was cutthroat. You could chat freely. No need to explain or defend yourself, just acceptance of the shared weirdness everyone lived through. The kitchen was warm and cozy after the cold blue room. The cook was chopping veggies for dinner. The rhythmic tap of the knife on the board made a soothing soundtrack for your chat. The smell of toasted bread wafted through second time today. Dinner edition. You sipped your tea, feeling the warmth spread inside. Good tea, one of the little luxuries in this house. Mrs. Cartwright knew a well-fed, comfy girl made more money and caused fewer headaches. The food was simple but solid, just enough comfort to breed loyalty. Anyone else booked for tonight? You asked, grabbing a seed biscuit from the plate on the table. Lily shook her head. Quiet today. Sarah had a morning client. Josephine's still resting on doctor's orders. And Mrs. Cartwright is stuck doing paperwork. A peaceful afternoon wasn't so bad. The real work kicked in at night, when regulars showed up after work or some gentleman sought fun after a club night. Afternoons were slower, more unpredictable. You broke off a small piece of the seed biscuit, savoring the dense, slightly sweet crunch. The cook was a wizard with simple stuff, no frills, but solid ingredients and steady hands. Caraway seeds gave it that special, slightly spicy aroma. "I'm thinking of stepping out for a bit," you said after finishing the biscuit. "Need to grab some hairpins and writing paper. Anyone need anything from the shop errand runs? Were allowed on downtime, even encouraged. Mrs. Cartwright believed fresh air was good for you, and little touches of normal life helped the girls accept their reality. Just be back before the evening rush." No one objected. Lily and Emily both declined to come along, so after tea, you headed upstairs to grab your scarf and wallet. Your small leather wallet held your own cash tips from customers, a little weekly allowance from Mrs. Cartwright, on top of room and board. Not much, but enough for little treats here and there. Your scarf was wool, dark blue, warm, and plain, nothing flashy to make you stand out from the other girls running errands. You wrapped the scarf around your shoulders, feeling that familiar weight settle your soul. The wool was a bit scratchy on your neck, but pleasantly grounding, keeping you alert with a physical nudge. Outside, the streets buzzed with afternoon life. Wagons rolled over cobblestones. Servants rushed errands for their masters. Street vendors called out. You blended into the crowd, anonymous in your plain clothes and scarf. Anyone looking would just see a regular girl running an errand. No one guessed your actual job. There was freedom in this anonymity. In these brief escapes into everyday life, the simple joy of walking to your own rhythm, choosing your path. Muscles moved smoothly over cracked sidewalks. Your breath naturally deepened with the exercise, as the cool air soothed your face after the quiet warmth of home. Your first stop was a tiny accessory shop wedged between a veggie stall and a bookbinding store. The bell jingled as you stepped in, the shopkeeper looking up from her work. She wore glasses perched low on her nose and said, "Good afternoon, Miss," neutral tone, but not unfriendly. "What can I do for you today?" "Hairpins," you said. "Black, medium size?" She nodded and reached under the counter for a small box. 6 pins, 12 coins, good quality. These ones didn't bend like the cheap knockoffs. You counted your coins carefully, not exactly broke, but old habits die hard. The shopkeeper wrapped the pins in paper and slid them across the counter with a businesslike nod. Next, a stationery store 3 blocks down. You picked up a small pack of writing paper and envelopes, plus a fresh pencil. The elderly owner chatted more than the hairpin lady, commenting on the weather and asking if you were buying paper to write love letters. You smiled, dodged the question with practiced politeness, playing the part of the perfectly well-behaved girl like a pro. These little chats with the outside world brought a strange kind of joy, a taste of pretending to be normal, and, in a blink, you escaped the reality unfolding around you. Just a few short minutes, strolling through a few streets, and you could be anyone: the shopkeeper, the schoolmistress, or the girl running errands for the family. But dreams have boundaries, limits. Some streets you dare not enter. Some shops won't let you in. The fancy tea room where the ladies gather, not your scene. The church with its steeple watching you like invisible eyes. Yeah, it's judging you, even when you're anonymous. There's always something reminding you where you stand. The final stop, the bakery. There, you treat yourself to a little luxury, a jam tart, crust still warm, strawberry filling perfectly tart and sweet. You nibble it while walking, savoring each bite, licking the jam off your fingers like it's a tiny celebration. Small pleasures, instant gratification That's the currency of this life. The walk home slows down, twisting and turning, no rush. And this gentle motion feels great after a mostly indoor morning. Your body moves easy, muscles doing their usual thing, joints flexing with each step. There's something satisfying in this basic rhythm, this physical capability. Your lungs expand and contract, heart beats steady, eyes soak in the complex London street scene, just existing, just being here. By the time you get home, afternoons fading into evening, light shifts, shadows stretch, air turns that golden pre-sunset hue. You unlock the front door, every girl's got one. A sign, Mrs. Cartwright trusts you and runs the place well, and step inside the warm house. The place feels different now, full of gentle energy. Evening preparations are underway. You hear noises upstairs, calls echoing through the rooms. The shift begins from the day's quiet pace to the evening's busy whirl. Mrs. Winters stops you in the hallway, her usually practical face holding a faint hint of annoyance. She spotted you. Mrs. Cartwright wants everyone ready by 7 p.m. We got some messages. Tonight might be busy. You nod, already tweaking your plans in your head. I'll start getting ready right away. Mrs. Cook asks if dinner's set 5:30, earlier than usual because of reservations. She answers. She glances at the small packages in your hands. Got everything you need? Yep. Thanks. You hold up your little paper bundle of hairpins as proof. She nods, satisfied, and heads straight to the kitchen, keys jangling at her belt. Mrs. Winters isn't personally mad at you. She's fair in her own way. But her role demands strictness, keeping distance from the girls she manages but doesn't work with directly. Upstairs, it's a frenzy. Every door's open, girls moving between rooms, borrowing stuff, asking for tips. Getting ready for the evening is both personal and group work. Everyone handles their look, but helps out with the tricky stuff no one can do. Solo in your room. Lily's halfway into her evening gown, wrestling with the back buttons of her silky blue dress. You put your shopping down and jump in, fingers deftly unfastening each tiny fabric button. Thanks. She sighs in relief. I wanted to get a head start because Mrs. Winters said tonight might be hectic. Good call. You say. You button up the last one, then step back for a look. Blue suits her, makes her eyes pop. She turns to a small mirror, gently pats the carefully styled hair, propped up with borrowed hair pieces for extra volume. You ask, don't you think it's too flashy? Not at all. Elegant but still noticeable. Perfect. These compliments and pep talks, part of the getting ready ritual. Evening gowns are basically costume, a kind of uniform for the role these girls are about to play, fancier than daytime clothes, showing a bit of skin, but still classy. Mrs. Cartwright hates gaudy stuff in these low-end joints. Bright red or over-the-top makeup. Nope. No way. Lily heads off to finish up elsewhere, while you start your own transformation. First, a proper wash. Not just a quick wipe like Mr. Wilson after work. The water in the basin is cold now, but fresh when you splash it on your face and neck. Then towel off all over. The chill makes your skin prickle with tiny goosebumps, a vivid, not unpleasant feeling. Your wardrobe holds your evening gown deep blue silk, a bit faded but still classy. This color works with your black hair and eyes. The cut flatters without being too risque. It's one of 3 similar dresses you rotate to keep them in good shape. Nice clothes are an investment in this line of work. They attract better clients and bring better pay. Getting dressed is a process with order. Start with fresh underwear, a soft cotton chemise and panties, a little luxury, totally different from the rough stuff from your tailor days. Then the corset, hooked in front, then turned around and laced up. Don't tighten too much. Gotta breathe and move, but enough to shape the trendy silhouette. Next, the petticoats that give the blue dress its volume. And finally, the main dress slides over it all like the icing on a fancy cake. That satisfying feeling as each step completes the look. The physical sensations keep you grounded, the corset snug around your waist, the rustle of petticoats brushing your legs, the soft, cool silk on your hands. Now, onto the hair. You ditch the simple daytime bun. Smooth out those shiny black waves. The new hairpins you just bought get put to work for a fancier look, not as fancy as the madam's stylists, but neat, cute, with soft curls framing your face and the rest tied neatly at the back. A light touch of makeup seals the deal, not too obvious. Mrs. Cartwright insists on keeping it natural, just a bit of rice powder to smooth the skin, a dab of blush on cheeks and lips, blended well so it doesn't scream fake. The effect subtle but clear, highlighting natural beauty with a healthy, fresh glow. The final touch is perfume, not some overpowering cloud, but gentle lavender dabbed on pulse points the wrists, behind the ears, the neck's hollow. The scent mingles with body heat, smelling clean and pleasant, overpowering the day's sweat stench. You step back, check yourself in the mirror. Transformation complete from ordinary girl to someone a bit refined. A little alluring, not quite madam material. No one's buying that. But definitely someone with charm. Grace worth your time, worth the money. The hallway clock strikes 5:30, dinner time. You head downstairs, the swish of silk on each step feeling heavier in dark clothes. Your walk changes straighter back, slower steps. The physical change cements the mental shift from person to professional role. Dinner's served in the dining room, not the kitchen, another day versus night signal. The table's simple but tidy, clean linens, decent cutlery. Mrs. Cartwright sits with the girls, at the head of the table in a dark purple silk gown. Her presence ups the formality, reinforcing the standards she expects. The food's simple but hearty, a rich beef stew loaded with veggies, fresh hot bread, and sticky rice pudding with raisins for dessert. A nutritious feast to fuel the night ahead. Wine is poured, one glass each, enough to warm but not cloud the brain. Easy chatter flows around the table. Dinner is the bonding moment before everyone dives into their separate evening duties. You sit between Sarah and Emily. Lily's across from you. Josephine's absent, still on doctor's orders to rest. Heard Mr. Henderson might show up tonight, Emily says, tearing off a piece of bread. Haven't seen him all week. Sarah nods, stabbing some beef with her fork. Glasgow business trip. I hear his usual night was last Thursday. The news exchange keeps rolling through dinner. Who's coming? Who's missing? Which regulars might drop by? Part work prep, part workplace gossip. The men the girls serve become characters in the shared story. Everyone knows their habits and quirks. Mrs. Cartwright mostly listens, sometimes correcting details or adding tidbits the girls don't know. Her role's complicated landlord, protector, strict manager, and occasionally mentor. She keeps a respectful distance but isn't cruel or unreasonable. When dinner ends, she addresses the table. As Mrs. Winters may have mentioned, we have a few firm bookings tonight, plus some possible walk-ins. Mr. Harrington requested Emily specially. Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Benson are expected around 8. Both are fine with whoever's here. Might be others, some messages hint at more guests. She pauses. Scanning the table, I expect everyone to keep up their usual poise. Remember, quality service is what keeps our reputation, not quantity. This little speech is part reminder, part pep talk, the unspoken message. More guests mean more money, but no slacking on standards. Chasing max profit, that's what sets this place apart from many others. The balance between business and certain principles. As Betsy and Cook clear the table, Mrs. Cartwright stands, signaling the end of the communal part of the evening. I'll be in my office another hour, then move to the parlor for guests. Have a good evening. With that, she leaves, the impressive rustle of purple silk trailing behind her. The girls linger, finishing their wine, savoring the last moments of freedom before work begins. Chasing maximum profit, that's what sets this place, apart from the usual joint, a fine balance between business and, well, some actual principles. As Betsy and Cook clear the tables, Mrs. Cartwright stands up, signaling that the group part of the evening is over. I'll be in my office for another hour, then I'll come out to the parlor to greet guests. Have a pleasant evening. Ladies, with that, she departs, her purple silk rustling impressively as she walks away. The girls linger at the table a bit longer, finishing their drinks, savoring those last precious moments of freedom before the night's work begins. Here comes the serious stuff. You sip the last drop of wine, feeling that warm, fruity kick slide down your throat, body relaxed, stomach full, ready for whatever's next. Your chair hugs you just right. The dining room's warmth feels like a gentle hug, that peaceful pause before the night kicks off. There's something almost sacred about it. Deep breaths, calm mind, just this moment, just this experience. That's all there is. Slowly, the girls scatter to prep for the final round into the parlor to get things just so. Then the kitchen for some tea before the night officially starts. You stay seated a bit longer, soaking in this tiny pocket of quiet amid the house's increasing buzz. Then you stand, feeling the silk dress glide softly as you rise. Muscles move smooth and balanced, your body's own autopilot kicking in. That physical sensation keeps you grounded right here, right now. Shoulders back, chin up, a quiet I'm ready to the world. A long night lies ahead, its exact shape still a mystery. There'll be guests, old friends, and fresh faces. There'll be a show of grace, care, desire. Physical acts are the real goods being sold. Little stories and big silences, unexpected moments of connection or distance. But hey, this is just the warm-up for now. It's a transition, a step from one state to the next. You head toward the parlor where the night's opening act will unfold. Steady steps, steady breath. The green silk swishes with every move, like a chill soundtrack for your walk. Your hand brushes lightly against the wall as you go, fingers feeling the wallpaper's texture present, alert, locked into your body and this very moment. Simple, pleasant, calm. The parlor's been transformed for tonight, thick curtains drawn tight to keep out the dark. Gas lamps lit and dimmed to a cozy glow. A fire blazes in the hearth, pushing back London's usual chill. A bottle of cherry wine and a few glasses wait on a small table, alongside a plate of candied almonds and some cute little cookies. Sarah's already there when you step in, sitting gracefully on the sofa, that deep burgundy evening gown makes her pale skin pop, her blonde hair all fancy with tiny pearl pins. She looks up as you arrive. "You look well," she says with a professional glance. "That blue really makes your eyes pop." "Thanks," you say, dropping into the armchair. The fabric's a bit worn but still plush. Velvet soft under your hands. Silence. She nods. "Still early?" "Mrs. Cartwright chimes in. "Not even 8 p.m. yet. First client's not here." She smooths her gown, fingers playing over the luxurious fabric like a pro. "It might start slow, but it'll pick up. End of the month. Everyone just got paid." That down-to-earth comment reminds you where Sarah came from. She used to be a fabric store secretary before this gig, so she's got the math and business smarts. That's why Mrs. Cartwright trusts her with the books, sometimes while waiting. The two of them chat about everyday stuff, new shops opening nearby. Guess what? Whether Cook's cough needs a doctor. If the cold order will arrive on time tomorrow, normal. Family stuff, the kind of chit-chat you'd hear in any home. Gradually. The sitting room fills up as the other girls arrive. Emily, in a pale blue silk that shows off her dark curls. Lily in a fancy emerald dress that highlights her strawberry red hair and fair skin. Even Josephine shows up, though she's told no customers tonight, just to hang out and build connections that might help later. Mrs. Winters brings in the tea, another part of the evening ritual. Not the usual clay mugs, but thin porcelain cups that let the light shine through when you lift them. The tea's the same, but the presentation upgrades it, creating that posh vibe Mrs. Cartwright always demands. You take the cup, feeling its light weight, the warm glow through the thin porcelain. The porcelain rim brushes your finger. The smooth edge meets your lips as you sip that familiar taste, warm and a little sharp. That little ritual, holding the cup carefully. Sipping slowly, it sets the mood for the night. Every tiny move is deliberate, controlled, conscious. The chatter around you flows quietly, like background music for your thoughts. Your body feels relaxed but alert, ready for tonight's work without a shred of stress or worry. The corset gently supports. The soft silk dress feels nice on your skin. You're aware of your posture, holding that elegance you've been perfecting for 2 years, straight back but not stiff. Shoulders pulled back, chin slightly raised. The hallway clock strikes 8. The chimes echo through the house, almost at the same moment. There's a knock at the front door. The first guest of the evening has arrived. Mrs. Cartwright appears at the sitting room door, her purple silk dress rustling impressively as she moves. Emily, "Mr. Harrington's here. He's especially asked for you." Emily sets down her tea, nods lightly, and stands gracefully, following Mrs. Cartwright out. The deal will go down in the lady boss's private office, cash exchanged, specific requests noted, boundaries set. Then Emily will lead Mr. Harrington upstairs, not the usual daytime guest room, but the private space prepared for evening visitors, with fresh sheets and fancy touches, a small flower vase, a bottle of perfume, maybe a few drops of essential oil in the lamp to scent the air. The other women keep their low-key chat going, but the vibe has shifted. The official evening's begun. Any minute now, another knock, a new guest, a new mission. Sure enough, less than 10 minutes later, there's another knock. This time, Sarah's called regular Mr. Lawrence, who shows up like clockwork every 2 weeks. Lily leans toward you as Sarah leaves, voice low. "Heard from the cooks there's a new gentleman tonight. Supposed to be really rich, some kind of banker or something. Mrs. Cartwright's being super picky, says we gotta have the best sherry ready. Cartwright was super picky about making sure only the best sherry got served. Info like that gold. Knowing what you're up against lets you play it right. Every client's got their own thing. It's not always just about the meat. If you catch my drift, some want to chat, some need sympathy, others just want to be admired, spotting what people really want beneath the surface. That's the real skill here. Did she say anything else about him? You whisper. Lily shakes her head. Just that he's new around here. But Cartwright introduced him. The conversation gets cut off by another knock. This time, Cartwright calls your name. You set down your tea, fix your dress, and stand up with the usual practiced grace, muscles moving in sync, every step measured and deliberate. You feel the soft sway of your skirt, the quiet rustle of silk against your underclothes, each step solid, balanced. In the hall, Cartwright's waiting with some gentleman you don't recognize. Tall, probably in his 30s, looking well off and carrying the confident air of someone used to power. His clothes screamed expensive, not flashy, but tailor-made with that quiet luxury only real money can buy. No pretending here. Mary, this is Mr. Hamilton, Cartwright said smoothly. Mr. Hamilton, meet Mary, one of our finest. You dip your head slightly, extend a hand with a light smile. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hamilton. He shakes your hand, briefly firm, but polite. His sharp gray eyes sized you up with clear respect. None of that condescending bullshit you usually get from these types. The pleasure's all mine, truly. Cartwright signaled subtly toward the office. Mr. Hamilton, please come in for a bit of business. Mary, could you wait in the parlor? Standard procedure. Money talks never happen in front of the girls. Gotta keep up the facade that this is just social call, not a business deal. You nod and head back to the parlor while they disappear into the office. Lily, you raise an eyebrow as you sit down. So he's new, huh? You confirm. He looks decent enough, probably banking or law. You guess, judging by his clothes and manners. Lily nods, catching your drift. Different clients need different approaches. The decent ones want a more complex script, a lot more talking. A drawn-out courting ritual to make sure it's not just a straight cash-for-service deal. A few minutes later, Cartwright returns with Mr. Hamilton. Mary, show Mr. Hamilton upstairs. I'm sure you two have plenty to discuss. That's her way of saying this isn't just about the physical part. The emphasis on discuss means he's paying for both the chat and the other stuff, not uncommon with the educated crowd. You stand, smile warmly as you approach him. Mr. Hamilton, sherry first or straight upstairs? Mary, show Mr. Hamilton upstairs. I'm sure you two have plenty to discuss. That's Cartwright's polite code discuss. Means he's buying both conversation and the full package, not unusual for a client with some class. You get up, walk over with a warm smile. Mr. Hamilton, want a glass of sherry first or head straight upstairs? I think I'll have a glass, he replies, voice confirming your read on his social status, educated but not aristocratic, probably upper middle class. You pour 2 small glasses from the decanter, handing one over with a practiced move that lets your fingers brush his unintentional, intimate touch, setting the first physical connection. He responds with a light smile and a quick, steady look that says he's cool with these little gestures. The chat kicks off with safe topics, the weirdly cold weather, a recent concert at Albert Hall he went to, a neutral comment on the worsening traffic. You listen closely, tossing in just enough knowledge to keep things interesting without bruising his ego. The guy thinks he's pretty worldly and smart. It's a dance you know well, guiding the convo without making it obvious, leaving space for him to feel intriguing and appreciated. Your body language backs this up, leaning in just enough to show interest, holding eye contact, tossing in well-timed smiles, all calculated but smooth. Even though you've practiced this a million times, you make it feel real. When his glass empties, you set yours down still half full. You rarely drink much while working. Then stand. Shall we continue this in a more comfortable spot, Mr. Hamilton? He nods and stands too. Lead the way, darling. Your room's upstairs, back of the house, small but neatly arranged to feel cozy and inviting. The bed's bigger and fancier than your own, with fresh sheets and plenty of pillows. A small fire crackles, just enough to chase off the chill. The sink's stocked with fresh water, clean towels, and some fancy-smelling soap. A corner curtain gives you a bit of privacy to change. The gas lamp's dimmed low, casting a soft glow that smooths flaws and warms the room. A tiny greenhouse vase of flowers, a luxury Cartwright thinks is worth it for an evening guest, adds a splash of color and scent. Mr. Hamilton looks around, clearly pleased. Cute, he said. Really cute. Thank you, sir, you replied, closing the door softly behind you. Make yourself at home. Cue the classic script, more chit-chat. Getting cozy, slowly shifting from words to touch, negotiating without saying it outright, but totally obvious what's going to happen or not. Then the physical act, performed with professional skill and a healthy dose of fake enthusiasm. Mr. Hamilton turns out to be a thoughtful partner, not rough or demanding, always mindful of mutual pleasure, even in this business-like intimacy. When it's over, he doesn't rush out but stays, wrapping an arm gently around your waist as you lie next to him on the rumpled bed. You're really good at this, he said after a moment, thoughtful rather than creepy. Thank you, sir. You answer simply, no need for fake modesty or complicated denial. You're good at this job, learned the skills like sewing or anything else. How did you get here? He asks, curious but not judgmental. If you don't mind me asking, you seem different than what I expected. This question isn't rare with new clients. They want a story, usually one that fits their stereotypes or fantasies: the innocent girl led astray, the fallen woman, or the secretly passionate lady society can't cage. You could make something up easily, but there's something about him, real interest, not faux moral curiosity, that nudges you toward a version closer to the truth. I used to be a seamstress, you say, calm and steady. The pay wasn't enough to live on, honestly. 16 hours a day, eyes straining in bad light, fingers bleeding in winter, and still not enough for rent or food. You pause, memories echoing faintly. This job pays better, shorter hours. Conditions are easier too. He's quiet for a bit, face thoughtful. So, a sensible economic decision. Huh. Exactly. You agree, even if society doesn't see it that way. This little philosophical exchange seems to intrigue him. He leans on one elbow, looking at you more intently. Don't you find it ironic that a market transaction gets judged with moral outrage like this? The conversation takes a surprising turn, a real talk about economics, ethics, and gender politics. It feels refreshing being treated like a thinking human. Not just a body, your brain buzzes with ideas. Your answers show more smarts than usual with clients. Finally, the hallway clock chimes 1 hour's up, gently reminding that playtime's almost over. Mr. Hamilton smiles, a bit regretful. I talked longer than I planned, he says, starting to pick up scattered clothes, but no regrets at all. Same here, you honestly reply. This was a pleasant meeting, physically gentle, but mentally stimulating. Feel free to come back any time. The farewell is standard, but somehow more sincere than usual. He's the kind of guy who could become that dream, regular, polite, clean, interesting to talk to, and probably rich enough to come often, neatly dressed, no rush, maintaining a dignified air even when awkward. Once dressed, he pulls a small coin from his vest pocket, adds it to the money already paid to Mrs. Cartwright for the chat, as a little gesture, placing it on the small table instead of handing it directly to you, a move that feels more respectful, not like a straight-up handoff. Thank you, sir, you say without yet taking the money. Really enjoyed it, he nods, pleased with the compliment. Might come back next week if it's convenient. I'd be happy. You answer professional, but genuinely warm. Rare for these gigs. He smiles one last time, nods slightly, and leaves. You hear his footsteps on the stairs, then Mrs. Winter's voice greeting him downstairs. She'll escort him carefully, making sure he doesn't run into anyone alone. Now, you start the cleanup routine after a client washing up, changing sheets, tidying the room. These moves have become muscle memory. No thinking needed. Your body knows this dance, quickly stripping the sheets, washing your face clean, pulling fresh linens from the closet. These repeated tasks act like meditation, letting your mind wander. The meeting with Mr. Hamilton was special enough to make you reflect real intellectual interaction, being treated like a thinking person with something worth hearing. That's rare in life. Most men just want illusions, escape, physical satisfaction. They don't need real conversation, real connection, but don't overthink it. Don't spin some tale about special understanding or extraordinary circumstances. He paid for your time, body, attention, just like any other client. That he chose to spend some time talking doesn't change the nature of the deal. This clear-eyed view isn't bitter or sad, just reality. You survive in this life by keeping sharp boundaries, staying sober about what's real and what's not. It protects you from false hope, investing feelings in the wrong places. The room's tidy again. You check your reflection in a small mirror. The meeting was pretty gentle, just a few fixes, like a hairpin, smoothing wrinkles on your dress, a touch of lipstick. Ready now. Before heading downstairs, you take a moment to breathe, find your balance, standing in the middle of the room, feet planted on the floor. You close your eyes for a sec. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth slow. Deep breaths filling your chest, gently squeezed by the corset. Relax your shoulders, jaw, those tiny muscles around your eyes. This little pause, this deliberate silence, helps you separate meetings. Mr. Hamilton is history. The next guy hasn't shown up yet. Just this breath, this moment, it's all yours. You feel the solid wood floor underfoot, the soft breeze on your skin, your chest rising and falling present, steady, focused. The hallway clock chimes half past the hour, pulling you back to the ticking clock of reality. You open your eyes, take one last deep breath, then head for the door. Silk swirls around you as you move like a gentle soundtrack to your steps. Your hand grips the doorknob firmly, posture balanced, ready for whoever or whatever's next. The house has settled into its evening rhythm as you descend the stairs. A chorus of voices spills from the other room's whispers, the occasional laugh, the clink of glasses. The work is in full swing, a carefully choreographed dance of supply and demand, desire and satisfaction, illusion and reality, all playing out behind closed doors. In the parlor, you spot Lily alone, stacking cherry glasses and fluffing pillows between guests. She looks up, face lighting up. Finally, here you are. How's the banker cook was right? He's loaded. Did you notice that gold watch chain? You laugh and sink onto the sofa beside her. He's all right, talks a lot. Smart, might become a regular. She nods, catching the unspoken verdict in those few words. Lucky you. I ran into old Mr. Watson again. You know, the guy who's all thumbs and constantly sucking on peppermint. That man always has candy in his mouth, breathing like a steam engine. This little info exchange feels both practical and everyday, the kind of understanding women share. No need for extra explanations. To justify, to protect, or simply accept the reality everyone's living with. The fire's dying down, casting a softer, warmer glow now. Lily stands, adds another quick log of smooth, practiced move. The fresh wood catches fast, flaring bright, then settling into a steady flame. You watch the fire dance, eyes blurring, mind calming. The warmth reaches even a few steps away, like a gentle caress on your skin. The room smells of wood smoke and cherries, a scent softened by the perfume the girls wear, and fresh flowers on the mantel. Familiar, comforting smells filled with memories. Your body feels pleasantly tired, not drained, just that awake but relaxed kind of tired. Your silk dress wraps you gently. The corset supports without squeezing. Your feet, swapped from sturdy day boots to cozy evening slippers, rest tucked under the sofa, muscles relaxed and loose. This quiet moment between clients is one of those rare little spaces, just for you, no performance needed. No one to impress or entertain, just existing in a warm room with soft light and familiar scents. Your breathing slows naturally, deepens in and out, calm and peaceful. Lily sits beside you, looking relaxed too. Quiet night for late November. She notes. Weather. You ask if that rain just now was heavy. You nod, glancing at the thick curtains by the window where rain still patters, drumming on the glass. Maybe it was, though the storm could have gotten worse later. The crowd watching the play and all that. This down-to-earth take on business reading trends. Outside factors affecting work that's professional thinking. Weather, payday, big city events all impact customers and potential income. The chat shifts Emily's new dress being tailored. Gossip over whether Josephine will bounce back quick or need a long break. Sunday dinner plans just normal, everyday stuff. The kind of talk you hear anywhere girls live together. Time slips by in this peaceful bubble, measured by the clock's soft ticking and the fire's slow fading. Your muscles unwind. Comfort settles in, your mind quiet and free of worries. Just this moment warm, accompanied, peaceful. Your breath falls into sync with the house's rhythm and distant whispers. The creak of floorboards, the rustle of fabric as Lily shifts beside you. The front door knocks. Another guest. You both straighten up, professionalism kicking back in. Mrs. Cartwright's voice floats down the hall, greeting the newcomer. Then she appears in the parlor doorway. Her eyes find you. Mary, there's a gentleman here to see you. Got a moment? You rise smoothly from the sofa, feeling the silk dress hug you comfortably as you stand. Your body's rested enough. Ready, of course it is. Mrs. Cartwright nods, as signaling you to follow her to the hallway, where the next guest waits. Waiting, as you step forward, you feel every balanced step, the hem of your skirt fluttering lightly, your breath deep and steady mind sharp, confident, fully present in your body right now. You're ready for whatever's next, walking with calm purpose as the evening rolls on. The night flows smoothly. One guest arrives, then another, all in the well-rehearsed rhythm of the house. Some you know, some you don't, some quick visits, others a bit messier. Through it all, you keep your professional cool graceful, charming. No matter what's really going on, you make sure to look delighted when there's a man nearby. By 11 p.m., there's a natural lull. Early guests have left. Latecomers from the theater or some gentleman's club haven't shown yet. The house falls into a brief hush. The girls gather in the kitchen for a light snack and some tea to recharge. The kitchen at this hour has its own cozy charm. The main cooking's done, but the big stove still radiates a comforting warmth. The air smells like toasted bread and beef stew from dinner, mingled with soap from dishwashing and a hint of the cold night outside. Cold fog spreads across London. The head cook's already in bed. She starts earliest, but left bread, cheese, cold cuts, and fruitcake for the girls to help themselves. You sigh and sink into a chair at the kitchen table, feeling the sturdy wood hold your weight. Tonight's work has you tired but not wiped out. Your body senses the movement, but isn't overstressed. The chair wraps around you, letting your muscles loosen their tight grip on control. Oh, nice. Time to let yourself relax a bit. Emily's sitting there. Her plate barely holds a few modest pieces of bread and cheese. Her blue silk dress is a little wrinkled, and her once neatly pinned hair is starting to unravel. These little signs show a long, tiring night slowly wearing down the perfect image she built a few hours ago. Busy night, huh, you ask, reaching for her plate. She nods, swallowing a chunk of cheese already on her fourth bite. Mrs. Cartwright mentioned there might be a group coming later, and some gentleman from a club party. Lily walks in as Emily's talking and catches the last bit. I heard the private dining room at George's. Looks like 6 or 8 people. At least that's what you're told. If they all show up, this news stirs up mixed feelings. More guests mean more cash. Sure, but also more work when you're already wiped from the evening. But hey, this is why you're here. This life's whole point. You pick a few pieces of bread, cheese, and a slice of cold roast beef, neatly arranging them on your plate. Simple food, but oh so satisfying after a long, exhausting night filling. Comforting. No need to pretend or perform while eating. Sarah comes over, bringing a warm teapot from the warming spot by the stove. The familiar tea pouring ritual unfolds amber tea steams as it fills your cup. You're offered milk or sugar. Then take that first delightful sip. Strong, sweet tea, waking you up after hours of fake smiles and weak laughs. The chat around the table is scattered, relaxed. No one has the energy for deep talks or heavy topics. Instead, it's little comments, petty complaints, and short stories about tonight's guests. Comfortable that unspoken understanding that needs no explanation or defense. You feel yourself relaxing more in this peaceful moment. The warmth of the tea spreads through your chest. The food quiets your hunger. Familiar friends soothe your social self. Your breath deepens naturally. Shoulders drop as tension melts away. Just relax, that's enough. But the break ends way too fast. Mrs. Winters shows up at the kitchen door, her usual stern face even sterner. They're here, she announces without beating around the bush. 6 gentlemen from the club party. Mrs. Cartwright wants everyone in the parlor right away. A collective sigh is quickly snuffed out. The work mindset kicks back in. Plates pushed aside, tea finished, hair and outfit checked in a hurry. The brief peace retreats, making room for the sharp focus needed in the parlor. Mrs. Cartwright greets the new guests, 6 men, just as reported, aged roughly 30 to 60, all in party clothes showing signs of a long night loosening ties. Waistcoats with a few wine or food stains. Their voices are louder than usual, laughs more frequent thanks to good booze and the guy bonding effect. They're less reserved than solo guests. Mrs. Cartwright looks up as you and the other girls enter, her face strictly professional. Ah, here they are. Gentlemen, meet Emily, Lily, Sarah, and Mary. I'm sure you'll enjoy their company. Next comes the usual complicated dance. More guests, more girls, sorting, pairing, negotiating. Who goes with whom? The gentlemen each have their preferences: blondes, petite types, or certain manners. The girls have their priorities or special charms too. Mrs. Cartwright skillfully coordinates, making sure everyone's satisfied and no one feels shortchanged. You get paired with a younger guy, about 32 or 33, black hair thinning just a bit, and a meticulously groomed mustache. He introduces himself as Edward, speaking carefully like he's trying to stay sober but failing just a bit. Nice to meet you, the man said, bowing slightly to kiss your hand. Really nice, and I have to say, that blue dress suits you. The standard compliment, delivered with just enough enthusiasm to make you think he means it, or at least believes he does right now. You smile and thank him with the usual practiced charm reserved for these kinds of flattery. The professional part of your brain kicks in, analyzing, categorizing, plotting your next move a little tipsy but not out cold, eager but not aggressive, probably married. There's a faint mark on his finger, the ring just slipped off. The conversation follows the usual script light. Chit-chat gradually gets more personal, then sneaky flirting, smoothly shifting from words to light touches. Your body goes on autopilot, just at the right expressions, perfectly timed reactions to bolder compliments, calculated physical distance, encouraging but not too soon. Then, finally, the chat in the living room wraps up its mission, like a play on repeat. Every couple hits the same point, just minutes apart. One by one, they stand from chairs and sofas, head toward the hallway and upstairs stairs, each girl leading her guest to the assigned room. Meeting Edward was nothing special, neither fun nor awkward. The guy was drunk enough to not want to drag things out, but traditional enough to expect nothing weird done. He dozed off lightly, breathing steady next to you on the rumpled bed. You lie still for a few minutes, giving yourself a tiny break. The room stays warm from the fire and recent activity, air heavy with a weird mix of sex, perfume, and your faint lavender scent. Outside, rain starts again, pattering unevenly on the window. Distant noises seep through the house voices. Laughter, floorboards creaking as someone passes the hall. Your body feels the familiar aftermath, slightly sticky skin. That signature muscle tension post-performance. Breath slowly returning to normal, not unpleasant, just physics. the honest reaction after a professional show. Edward stirs beside you, shifting from half asleep to awake with a small jerk. "Oh," he says, a bit flustered. Sorry about that." "No worries," you reassure him, slipping back into your smooth, professional tone. "You looked peaceful. Didn't want to disturb you." He smiles, relieved you understood the brief moment. The aftermath follows the usual routine brief. Slightly awkward chat, careful untangling, methodical cleanup of messy clothes. You help him fix his tie, fingers expertly knotting the familiar knot. He thanks you sincerely for the small favor, the bigger favor before, and the whole staged experience that lets him return to normal life, satisfied and intact, once he leaves. You start your familiar reset shower, change clothes, change the sheets, tidy the room. These moves happen automatically. No deep thinking needed. Your body remembers every step, performing gently while your mind drifts in the quiet aftermath of the storm. You realize today was long from waking early, through various stages chores, doctor visit, afternoon client, prepping for the evening, multiple evening clients, each phase demanding a different side of you, different focus and performance styles. The weight of every hour, every meeting presses down like a deep exhaustion, both physical and mental. Not unpleasant exhaustion. This particular tiredness carries a hint of satisfaction. Job done, paycheck earned, or challenge met. Your body feels fully used but not abused. Your mind tired but not miserable, just naturally drained after all the effort and focus. Body and brain signal that rest is necessary now. The hallway clock chimes one up, technically. It's morning already, but it still feels like the dead of night. Rain keeps falling steadily. Now, with distant thunder, rolling in a textbook storm brewing. You can tell just by hearing it. You finish tidying the room and check your look one last time. The blue silk dress shows signs of a long night, small wrinkles. The hem slightly flared from hugging your curves. Your hair's partly undone despite multiple fixes, and the light makeup is almost gone, still decent. But the flawless image from earlier is long gone, downstairs. The living room is empty except for Mrs. Cartwright sitting in her usual chair, scribbling in her ledger. She looks up as you enter, eyes sharp as she glances over your appearance. "I think that's it for tonight, Mary," she says, voice already sounding tired. "The gentlemen have finally left, and I don't expect anyone else, especially with this weather." You breathe a sigh of relief, allowed to call it a night, ditch the professional mask, and go back to your real bed for some proper rest. "Thank you, Mrs. Cartwright," you reply. She's settled in her usual chair, finishing notes in the accounting book. She looks up as you come in, sharp eyes quickly sizing you up. "I think today's enough, Mary," she says, her voice showing weariness. "The last clients have gone, and I don't expect more now, especially with the weather turning bad." You exhale, grateful to end the day's work, shed the professional facade, and return to your real bed for some well-earned rest. "Thank you, Mrs. Cartwright. Anything I can help with before I head upstairs?" She shook her head and snapped the book shut like it was the final word. "No need, Mrs. Winters already checked the windows thoroughly. The cook will handle everything in the morning, as usual." She stood up, casually adjusting her purple silk shawl. "Good night. Good night, Mrs. Cartwright." That brief exchange officially ended the workday, Sliding back into private life, you drag yourself up the stairs, each step feeling a bit heavier than usual. Your body's been begging for rest for hours now. The day's exhaustion finally hits once work's done. Your bedroom, shared with Lily, greets you with comforting simplicity. No guests allowed here. This is real private space just for you and your roomie. Two small beds with plain cotton sheets and wool blankets. A tiny dresser holding daytime clothes and a few odds and ends. A basic ceramic sink, not some fancy porcelain like in the parlor. Lily's already there, sitting on her bed in pajamas, slowly brushing her long, reddish-brown hair with tired strokes. She looks up as you enter, smiling with that knowing look only roommates share. "Done for the night?" she asks, still brushing. "Yeah, thank God," Mrs. Cartwright said. "That's it. Storm's coming, so you better start undressing." Your fingers work the buttons and hooks like pros, despite the fatigue. "How was tonight?" she asks. Lily shrugs a simple move that says it all. "Same old, nothing special, but made decent cash, and the last client was generous." That short chat says everything. You both get the hidden stories behind those few words, years of complicated experience packed into simple sentences. It's comforting to understand each other without long explanations. The blue silk dress slips off with a sigh of relief. Then the bra comes off. Adding to that sweet satisfaction, your lungs finally fill fully for the first time in hours, freed from that tight cage. The cool bedroom air feels amazing on your skin, a tiny luxury just for you. The worn cotton nightgown, soft from countless washes, hugs you like a blessing comfortable. No demands, no pretending. You undo your hairpin, letting your hair fall over your shoulders, then start brushing like Lily. The repetitive brushing is pure bliss. The gentle tug on your scalp, washing away the day's stress. "Ever wonder what a different life would be like?" Lily suddenly asks, voice soft in the dim light. "I mean, a whole other life." Not surprising philosophical thoughts like these pop up when you're tired and your usual mental barriers loosen. You keep brushing, pondering the answer, or sometimes you admit it. But then reality crashes back hunger, cold, the constant fear of being thrown into a labor camp. "At least here we eat, stay warm, and have some control over our lives." She nods, accepting this grim but honest view. "Yeah, I guess. Not better or worse. Just different kinds of hardship, different prices to pay." "Exactly," you agree, setting the brush down. "Different prices." This tiny moment of shared truth is precious and no illusions, no despair, just reality both of you live, just a clear-eyed understanding of the world, as it is what choices women like you have in this time and place. The chat drifts to closer topics, plans for tomorrow morning, reminding each other about laundry day, guessing if the storm will mess up deliveries, everyday stuff, family details, little things that make life feel steadier. Finally ready. You turn off the light and crawl under the warm covers. Initially, cold sheets slowly. Warm up with your body heat. The feather-stuffed mattress is lumpy but incredibly cozy on your tired frame. You shift, hunting the perfect spot where everything clicks. Way better. Outside, the storm rages louder. Rain taps steadily on the windows. Wind shakes the glass now and then, but inside, it's warm, safe the deep quiet after a long day's grind. Your eyes close. Breath deepens and slows. Lily's voice floats softly in the dark. "Good night, Mary." "Night, Lily." You mumble, words fuzzy in the creeping sleepiness. The day's events start to blur in your mind, specific memories fading into a general feeling sensations, emotions. Your physical self in the bed becomes your main focus, the weight of the blanket, the softness of the pillow, the heavy comfort of limbs finally letting go. Your breathing finds its natural rhythm deep, slow, steady, in and out, gentle and peaceful. Each exhale pulls you deeper into relaxation. Each inhale draws you closer to the waiting world of sleep. Your mind quiets, thoughts less sharp and less demanding attention. The storm outside creates the perfect soundtrack for sleep-steady rain. Distant thunder rumbling occasionally, wind whispering around the corners, a nature lullaby, old but effective. Your consciousness starts drifting on this soft sea of sound, more like drifting than swimming, more carried than moving on your own in this hazy doorway to sleep. A kind of wisdom flickers, not the sharp alertness of full wakefulness, nor the jumbled chaos of dreams, but something in between, a perspective that sees past daily struggles and tiny victories to the bigger, shared patterns of human experience, your life in a Victorian brothel, just a tiny thread in the grand tapestry of women's history, rough, sure, dangerous in its own special way, morally condemned by the very society that made it necessary and profitable, yet oddly also a place with freedoms nowhere else to be found, limited financial independence, sisterhood tangled with rivalry, control over your daily life well, as much control as society would allow, the weight of history, all those women before you navigating their own messy choices, feels less like a burden and more like a curious companion, showing up in this moment. You're not the first to wade these waters, nor the last. Details change fashion, economics, social structures, but the core experience unchanging through time. That thought brings a strange comfort as you sink deeper into sleep. Your breath slows, your body feels heavy on the mattress, now perfectly comfy, ready to let go completely. Outside, the Victorian world keeps spinning its complicated dance strict classes, deep inequality, and delicate hypocrisies that keep the gears turning. But here, in this room, in this moment, there's only the simple truth of a human body needing rest, a mind craving sleep's healing, basic survival needs unchanged since the dawn of time. Your awareness of the room fades as sleep draws near, the feel of the bed, the storm's noise, even your own breathing blur and pull away like the tide retreating from shore. What's left is a deep inequality, slick hypocrisy keeping everything ticking. But here, in this room, in this moment, all that fades away. What's left is the simple truth of a human body needing rest, a mind craving the healing power of sleep, the most basic survival needs, unchanged since humankind began. Your awareness of the room blurs as sleep creeps closer, the feel of the bed, so the storm's sounds. Even the knowledge of your own breathing start to fade, retreating like the tide pulling back from shore. All that's left is a feeling, a gentle drifting, a peaceful float toward the unconscious sleep. Now, just let yourself sink deeper into that total relaxation. Your eyelids grow heavy, so heavy that opening them would be way too much effort. Your limbs feel impossibly heavy too, frozen in place even if you wanted to move, which you don't. You just want to drift off into deep, quiet sleep. That's it. Let go completely. The day's over. The work's done. Now there's nothing left to do but rest, recover, dream maybe about other possibilities, other worlds, but for now, just sleep. Deep, peaceful sleep, easy and smooth now. Sleep tight, drifting deeper with every breath, down, down to perfect, complete rest.